Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. Be seen on WHPR Detroit Live, Comcast Cable Channel 91, on the web at TV33WHPR.com, with the TV33 app, on Roku, Google TV, Apple TV, and on Amazon Fire TV. Act now. Time slots are limited. Sign up today and get a free replay with the purchase of your time slot. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
Good morning, Highland Park, and welcome to Highland Park Highlights. I'm your host, Rod Liggins. This is the first Monday of April, the first Monday after Easter, and I'm sure you had a wonderful and holy celebration for Resurrection Day. We're kicking off this week today with some cloudy skies. We're expecting rain later today with a high of about 66. It was about 45 degrees coming in today, and it looks like the sun was trying to make its way out, so we're hoping to have some great sunshine later today. In the news, this is week 2 of the murder trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Chauvin is accused of placing his knee on the neck of George Floyd during an arrest that left Floyd dead. Emotional testimony last week from bystanders. Several witnesses broke down on the stand as they described the final moments of Mr. Floyd's life at the hands of, or at the knee, that is, of Chauvin. The police officers and even superiors of former Officer Chauvin spoke about how the force that was used was excessive and unnecessary. The trial resumes today with more testimony coming in from those on the scene as well as other experts to discuss the trial. Major League Baseball has removed the All-Star game from the city of Atlanta, primarily in response to the state of Georgia's new voter restriction laws. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signed these bills into law that includes greater use of ID by potential voters. These new laws are expected to have a negative impact on African American voters. It's also now illegal to even provide food and water to those standing in line waiting to vote. Long lines created because these measures will now make it harder to find places to place your ballot, as well as to drop off your absentee ballots in a ballot box. A lot of these bills have come along, and it's not just in Georgia. A number of states have come up with these so-called voter protection laws in response to former President Donald Trump's baseless claims that the presidential election last year was stolen from him. These claims have never been determined to be true, and just yesterday it was announced that the city of Detroit and Comerica Park will not be in the running to replace to become the host city, that is, of the All-Star Game. Details for more than 500 million Facebook users have been found available on a website for hackers. The information appears to be several years old, but it's another example of the vast amount of information collected by Facebook and other social media sites and the limits on how to secure that information. Facebook has been grappling with data security issues for years. In 2018, the social media giant disabled a feature that allowed users to search for one another via phone number, following revelation that a political firm accessed information of up to 87 million Facebook users without their knowledge or consent. So you want to make sure, if you're on social media, only add the information that you want others to have access to, because you just never know in this day and time of what can be hacked and what can be used without your permission or consent. And a lot of folks I know are really monitoring not only their social media pages, but the pages of their children, because a lot of times kids will put information out that they think is harmless, but could actually be very detrimental to them as a family and individuals. So you want to make sure you're keeping tabs on all of your social media pages, not just Facebook. Cases of COVID-19 in the state of Michigan continue to rise over the past week, and this despite an increase in individual vaccine numbers that are also on the rise. Highland Park and Hamtramck residents can take advantage of the COVID vaccine tomorrow by dropping in on the Ford Rec Center on 10 Pitkin Street between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Although appointments are recommended, walk-ins are welcome. And we're asking those that have already been vaccinated or those that are considering being vaccinated to encourage your family and friends, encourage your coworkers, bring them with you so that they too can be vaccinated. The only way we can really flatten the curve of the virus is to make sure that we're getting a large majority of folks vaccinated. We'll be talking about this a little bit more throughout the show today, but the focus has really got to be about making sure that we're getting folks vaccinated in a timely manner. We hear about locations all over the state. We know that in Detroit, both the TCF Center and Ford Field are major spots for folks to come in from all over the state, not just Detroit residents. So we're making sure that everyone knows what's available so that they're able to get their vaccination shots. The City Water Department has completed 62 service line replacements for responsive residents for Phase B between November 30th and December 18th. Phase A began January of this year with an anticipated completion of next month. Any additional service line replacements not completed before December 18th will be completed starting in April of this year. After the following up with residents, the contractor will continue with replacement of water service lines located in various locations. Residents will be informed in advance as contractors will be required to enter homes to complete the repair connections. So just be on the lookout for those coming to make water service a lot better for the residents of Highland Park. The Stanford Lady Cardinals stand atop the women's college basketball mountain after knocking off Arizona last night in a nail-biter 54-53. Last shot heroics by Arizona were not enough to topple Stanford. The men's college basketball championship take place tomorrow between UCA and undefeated Gonzaga. The Zags hope to become the first undefeated team to win the national title in nearly 30 years. We're going to take a quick break right now, but when we come back, we'll have a discussion on several topics that I gained from talking to Highland Park residents during the past week. A number of these issues are in the current news and some things that may just surprise you that folks want to have a discussion about. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm joined today by Maureen Taylor and Louis Pisker to let you know about a new financial empowerment center located in the Wayne County Treasurer's Office.
Do you know someone, family or friends, that need help with finances? Do you know people having trouble making ends meet, especially with property taxes or other payments? The Detroit Financial Empowerment Center can help. Treasurer Sabri invites you to visit the new Financial Empowerment Center, 400 Monroe, on the 5th floor in downtown Detroit.
We've partnered with the Wayne County Treasurer's Office and the City of Detroit to provide free one-on-one financial counseling to help you address problems related to utility bills, property or income taxes, credit repair, and other financial matters. Our professional counselors can also help you plan your monthly budget and increase your credit score.
This service is available to all Wayne County residents. For free and private financial counseling, contact the center at 313-322-6222 and make an appointment today.
If you need a car today, use credit, bruise credit, or in need of a financial miracle, my name is Mr. Green, the Financing King. Got a small down payment and proof of income. You can drive away today in a new or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV. Call me, Mr. Green, 313-350-4188. I have over 35 years of experience and an unlimited selection of reliable, certified vehicles. Call Mr. Green, the financing king, 313-350-4188.
Watch Anthony Adams. We, Detroit. We deserve better. Live on Mondays from 11 a.m. to noon on WHPR TV 33 Detroit. And live stream on Facebook. We, Detroit. We deserve better.
Good morning and welcome back to Highland Park Highlights. I'm your host, Rod Liggins, and it's just about 11 minutes after 8 on this sunny Monday morning, but it's expected to get a little bit more cloudier later in the day with a possible chance of showers and even a few thunder showers. So you want to make sure you keep your umbrella handy as you head out during your day. I want to reiterate that tomorrow is the last day for this week to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. The location will be at the Ernest Ford Rec Center on 10 Pickens Street here in Highland Park. And you want to make an appointment. They're recommended, but they are taking walk-ins. The numbers you want to call, 313-580-3208. Once again, that's 313-580-3208. Or you can also call 313-580-5539. 313-580-5539. And one of the topics I wanted to discuss today was the subject of vaccinations. Now, for those of you that don't know, we had a great turnout this past week in Highland Park as residents and folks from outside of the city came in to make sure they got the COVID-19 vaccine because it was made available. And you're not asked for any ID, you're not asked for any money. This is free of charge. And between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., hundreds were coming in each day last week. And we want to make sure that continues tomorrow between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. The topic I want to discuss is there are a number of folks who have asked why should they get vaccinated? And we know the obvious choice is you want to flatten the curve. You want to protect yourself and your family and your friends, co-workers, church members. If you're going off into the barber shop or the beauty salon, any place you go where people are gathering, you want to make sure that you're protected. And you also want to make sure that you're not carrying that the virus with you that could possibly infect others. And just because we're talking about vaccinations, please don't think it's time to get rid of the gloves. Get rid of the masks. If you wear gloves, that's fine. But if you don't, just make sure you're washing your hands and maintaining that 6 feet social distancing that we've been doing since early of 2020, about this time last year. We want to make sure that no one else falls ill to this. We've seen the videos. There is a local reporter, an anchor who is just returned home from after spending over a week in the hospital. This is not something you want to play with. Now, we understand that some folks are unsure about what's in the vaccine, and I was one of those people. I really had to go and do my homework and do some research and find out what exactly we're talking about and how long there has been work on this vaccine. And I know that this particular coronavirus vaccine is fairly recent, but this is not something that just started that was being worked on over the past few years. There have been decades of work dealing with these types of viruses. This has just come to the forefront because we're right now in a global pandemic, and we still are. As I stated earlier, Michigan's numbers, who at one time were one of the lowest, have now hit the top of the charts in a bad way, meaning that a lot of folks are now coming down with this. So we want to make sure that those of you who have not tested positive, that you get the vaccine. If you have tested positive, we want to make sure you're seeking medical attention and making sure you're getting vaccinated as well. This is not something that we can really just, shrug our shoulders to and hope for the best. We have to be proactive in this. And I've talked to a few folks over the weekend and then during the past week, and had a number of folks said they will get vaccinated if their job or if it becomes mandated. And I was kind of caught flat-footed when I heard that statement, mainly because you should not want to wait until someone makes it mandatory for you to take something that can be beneficial not just to you but to your family. And speaking of family, I did speak to quite a few adults who were inquiring about family members. The husband may want to get the vaccine, but the other spouse is like, I think I'll wait. And then when the discussion came to kids, they weren't really hearing a lot of information. We're now aware that folks 16 and up can get the vaccination. If the young person is 16 or 17, they will need to be accompanied by a parent or a guardian. So you want to make sure that if your teenage son or daughter between the ages of 16 and 17 are seeking to get vaccinated, you or someone that you designate will have to come and be with them on their behalf to make sure that they have the correct parental guidance to receive the vaccination. Another thing is just the fact of getting back into the scheme of things. I've noticed now a lot of folks have been behind masks for over a year, and a lot of folks getting frustrated. They don't want to wear them anymore, and I get that. There are times when I've jumped out of my car and had to walk all the way back because I wasn't wearing one, even though I've been doing it every day. The fact of the matter is, it is tiring. It does feel like it's cumbersome. But every time I think about ditching the mask, I think about those who didn't even get the opportunity to get vaccinated. I spoke to folks, and I know folks, the surviving members of those who've lost their lives to COVID-19, they would have loved for their loved ones to have gotten the opportunity to be vaccinated from this disease. And this virus, like I said, it has no favor of anyone. It has hit African Americans especially hard, but no demographic is immune. This is why the call is going out, please get yourself vaccinated. Another issue regarding the vaccine was, why should I, as it relates to my daily activities? Well, out here this past week, I spoke to some who were in line waiting to get vaccinated and those that had just gotten vaccinated, and their answers were quite simple. There was a woman that said, I want to hug my mom and dad again. I want to have a holiday dinner with family and not be concerned about someone being a carrier or someone possibly becoming infected with the virus. And the way you do that is getting yourself vaccinated. So this past week, I took it upon myself to do just that. I got my first of 2 shots this past week. There was no real stress on my part. I didn't do any kind of nervousness or second thinking myself. My main focus was I had done my research, I had done my homework, so I felt now was the time to go ahead and walk the talk that I've been speaking. And I spent this past Easter weekend encouraging, cajoling, pleading with folks to please go out and get vaccinated. This has got to be a decision you make. And if you're a parent, you've got to make that for yourself and your teenagers in your home as well. The fact of the matter is there is no plan B. And that's one of the key things I want to leave you with when we talk about the vaccine is if there were another way to combat this, it would be out and we would be pushing that. We'd be promoting it across traditional media and social media. But right now, this is the only weapon that we have outside of continuing to isolate yourselves and wear the masks and keeping yourself socially distant and making sure you're washing your hands quite a bit more than you would pre-pandemic. But the focus of this at the end of the day, no matter what it is you seek to do, going out to watch the game with friends or going out to a ball game. Opening day was just last week, and we know there's 100 and something games coming up. 80 of those will be played right here in Detroit. and we know folks are want to go see the games. The Red Wings are still playing. The Pistons are playing. Neither one of those teams are doing pretty well, but folks still want to have a chance to go out and see the team and root for the team from all over Southeast Michigan. But the only way that can be done in a safe way is being socially distant. And as you go into these venues, you will see. I had dinner out and I had lunch out in different venues. People were spaced out. They didn't have every table occupied. They can only get up to 50%. The sooner we get more and more people vaccinated, that can go up to maybe 75%. And then one day we can get back to having full capacity in these venues. But it takes us. So again, as I stated before, you will be able to get vaccinated here in Highland Park from the ages of 16 and up starting tomorrow. You need to make an appointment. It's recommended but not required. They are taking walk-ins. We want you to know you can call 313-580-3208. Again, 313-580-3208. And the other number, 313-580-5539. 313-580-5539. So tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., right there at the Ford Center. The Ford Center on 10 Pickens Street. We want you to come out and get vaccinated. If you've already been vaccinated, offer to bring those who have not gotten vaccinated. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the issues that you brought to my attention over the past week. We're going to take another break, so stay right there.
Finally, I just got my COVID-19 vaccine.
I registered with my local health department and they called me.
I got mine at the pharmacy and my neighbor got hers from the hospital.
I'm not a techie person, so I called the COVID hotline and they helped me schedule an appointment.
Get vaccinated with the first vaccine you can. Protect us all.
Learn more at michigan.gov/COVID vaccine.
Hi, excuse me, do you have anything for paint?
Straight down that aisle there.
Thank you.
Young lady, this here's what you need.
Ringmaster?
Ringmaster rubbing oil.
How does it work?
By promoting circulation since 1950. Massage it in for best results.
Ringmaster took care of my back pain.
Ringmaster got rid of my knee pain, too.
Wow, it sounds like I'm late to the party. I'll take one.
Find Ringmaster at CVS, Davis Drugs, and other fine stores.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton.
And I am Thabiti Mpinda.
Inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback.
A positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
And take us along with you. Feedback.
Shelley Books and More. Short stories, poetry, and art contests for the youth. Cash prizes, $300 to $500 plus prizes. No entry fee. Go to ShelleyBooksandMore.com. Contact Shelley at 313-778-8009. Submit entries now and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Shelley Books and More. Also, listen to Shelley Books and More every other Tuesday, 4 p.m. on FM 88.1 WHPR. Radio we can see.
Good morning, Highland Park. It's time to get up and enjoy the first Monday in April. And welcome back to Highland Park Highlights. I am your host, Rod Liggins. It's just now 8:25 and just a little over 45 degrees on this Monday morning. The next topic I wanted to talk about that was brought to my attention was recreation. And what I mean by that is, how can you stay active during a pandemic? And the other question was, how do you lose these pandemic pounds that I've gained because I haven't been able to get outside as often as I like because of the quarantine where most folks stayed indoors? Now, if you were like me, I can tell you that I did not do a lot of activity over the past year. I find myself now going out bike riding. I've done a little bit of walking and some other types of activities. But I know for parents, the first thing they were talking about was with their kids. The kids have been in front of screens because they were unable to go to the classrooms. And just going back and forth to class was an activity. But now keeping the kids in the house, it seemed as if they had no activity at all that was taking place. And when they did go out, it was on a limited basis, and they had to be socially distant, so they could not really engage and hang out with their friends like they normally would if they were out, playing basketball, bike riding, and things of that sort. Now, as we've gotten into the fourth month of 2021, we're starting to get a better idea of things that we can do as long as we're taking precautions. So let's start with the kids. We know that they're in school, and they're in school in front of a computer monitor for several hours a day, but that doesn't mean they have to stay in front of a computer monitor, because we know that young people love video games, PS4, PS5, Xbox, whatever the case may be, even online games. But the focus has to be a balance. I've never said never let any kid, take away all the video games from kids, because they can be educational and they can be fun. I leave that up to the parents on which games they're allowed to play and how often they're allowed to play them. But I found that young people will take the lead from their parents and even their grandparents. So you can go out and go for a walk with your kids or grandkids. You can also take part in some light jogging if your health permits, and you want to make sure that you're following your doctor's guidelines as it relates to any kind of medications you're on and other types of activity that the doctor says you should or should not be doing at a specific time in your life. But the main focus has got to be get moving. And that means you can get together in-house and do push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks. You can challenge your kids, and your kids can challenge you, because that can be a way of engaging each other to keep folks active. You can also do bike riding. Now, I've been bike riding and wearing a mask, and it took some getting used to initially, because I found myself, feeling like I was a little stifled for breathing initially. But once I started adjusting and getting different types of masks that didn't really fit so snug on my face, I was able to enjoy the bike riding a lot better. And as you see, I'm 6'4", and I weigh about pounds, and I need to work on that. So I know I've got to do some activity and keep myself moving. But that doesn't mean you have to just sit in house. And even when I remember when I was younger, my brothers and I, we would either do push-ups or sit-ups during the commercial breaks of shows. And then I remember growing up and doing that even as an adult. You could do those types of activities. So there are ways that we can be active and be healthy. Another thing is, when you're used to having sugary snacks or salty snacks in the house and sugar-filled pops, and they call them juices, but there's no real fruit juice in them. Those things are okay in small consumptions when a child is active. But when their activities have been restrained or reduced, we have to also reduce those types of activities to avoid weight gain, to avoid getting close to being obese or becoming obese. And we have to look at providing more fruits and vegetables in the diet. Even if we were not in a pandemic, that's always a good idea. But just talking with some adults, they were just telling me how, I still have to go to work. I may work at a job where I have to leave the house, and my son or daughter, they're not in school, so they're not doing the walking back and forth to school. They're not doing the walking through the halls, and they're not eating the 3 meals a day. They just are constantly eating throughout the day. These are things that you have to be able to get a hold of, because they're beneficial to your kids. We know nourishment is needed, but we got to encourage the more drinking of water instead of a can of pop or a bottle of pop. For a 12-ounce can of pop, if you looked at that can and measured that can out, about 35 to 40% of that can is nothing but sugar. And it's either pure sugar, corn syrup, fructose, whatever name they want to give it. it's still something that you should not be consuming large quantities of. So we want to focus on making sure we're getting out. The weather's getting warmer, the days are getting longer, it stays brighter a lot more. So these are things that should be encouraging us to become more active. Now, like I said before, you don't want to go out and act as if you're going to run a 26-mile marathon. You can start with just walking a few times a week. You can incorporate a few jumping jacks. You can definitely do things where you're sitting, like when you're on the floor, do some leg lifts or do some sit-ups. You want to make sure before any of these activities take place, you want to stretch. You want to make sure you're not going to be pulling muscles. You want to make sure that you're warmed up, because when you just start off cold, you can find yourself cramping up. You can find a pulled muscle, and even worse, a torn muscle, which could take days, weeks, or even months to recuperate and can cause your whole workout plan to be delayed. So we want to stay focused with getting out, getting active, becoming more healthy. And I will be sharing more of that as I go, because I know that I'm ready to lose some weight. I'm ready to get engaged myself with getting into shape. And we'll be talking about things that you can eat and things that you can cook in a way. It doesn't have to always be batter fried, batter dipped and deep fried. It doesn't have to be covered in gravy and thick sauces and things of that sort. I know in Detroit, Coney Island is the place to go if you want something early morning, middle of the day, for dinner, and especially late at night. But at the end of the day, that's a lot of calories. And it's not just the Coney Islands. There are fast food joints pretty much on every corner. And it's nothing wrong with eating these as long as you're doing it in moderation. I can tell you I am a fan of certain foods that I should not be. Or if I am, I've got to learn to eat them in moderation. Not just because as we're getting older, which I know we all are, but it's mainly because you want to get to a point where you maintain, you hit a healthy way of living, and you're able to stay there. Will you still eat some sweets? Yes. Will you still enjoy not just an order of fries, but some chili cheese fries? Yes. But you want to make sure you're doing that in moderation. You want to make sure you're drinking more water. You want to make sure that you're becoming more active. I know that some folks have found that owning a pet, taking a dog out for a walk, makes them become more active, because they know the dog does not want to be cooped up in the house, and a lot of folks don't either. So we want to make sure that we're getting with one another, and one of the best ways you can reconnect with your neighbors and friends is meeting someplace socially distant, wearing a mask, but getting out to a nearby track or getting out to a nearby park, any place where you can go, where you can be socially distant but also active and healthy. And I know that folks have been asking about taking part in the activities at the very rec center where you can get the vaccine. I spoke to the rec director for the city of Highland Park, Miss Sue is what I call her, and she said, we would love to have people come in. We would love to have people come back in and play ball and become active and take advantage of everything they have to offer. But we can't do it unless we're vaccinated. We can't do it unless we're ensured that folks are not going to be carriers of this virus and becoming super spreaders at a hot spot, and then it's got to be shut down for weeks and months at a time. I saw on the news that entire Walmart someplace in Michigan is being shut down because it became a hot spot. There was just a lot of folks that contracted that virus, and they needed to shut it down and do a thorough cleaning of the entire store. And if you've ever been into a Walmart, you know this is a huge establishment. So these are some of the things we're going to be talking about in the next days and weeks as we go on the Mondays to come, is how you can become more active, how you can get your family engaged, how you can get with your friends to make sure you're not putting on the pandemic pounds of 2020. We want to drop those, and we want to get into a habit of healthier living, healthier eating, and a healthier lifestyle. When we come back, we're going to next talk about some things about what are you doing to make your dreams come true. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri, encouraging all taxpayers to please take advantage of the several payment options available.
You can pay online by visiting the Wayne County Treasurer's Office website. Paying online is easy and convenient.
You can also download the mobile app and pay with your smartphone.
You can pay at one of 70 kiosks located throughout Wayne County.
And yes, you can always still send in your payments using the U.S. Postal Service.
If you have to visit our office in person, you must make an appointment by going to treasurer.waynecounty.com. It only takes a few minutes. Facial covering or mask is required and social distancing is observed. Your health and safety is very important to us. You can also email our office at taxinfo@waynecounty.com or call us at 313-224-5990.
I've always been a runner, but I've never run from anything, and neither has my city.
Do you want to be a Detroit police officer?
Sir, yes, sir! Up!
Amen!
It's something special to protect the people closest to you, the ones you've known all your life, your neighbors, your friends. I was born in this city, and I'm not going anywhere. This is my home. That's why I wear the shield.
We at Watkins Broadcasting care about the health and safety of our viewers and listeners. During this novel coronavirus pandemic, please protect yourself and others. Wash your hands well and often. Avoid touching your face. Cough and sneeze into your sleeve. Practice social distancing. Stay at least 6 feet away from others when in public and only leave the house when it's essential. Stay safe. You are important to us.
Happy Monday morning, Highland Park, and welcome to Highland Park Highlights. I'm your host, Rod Liggins. The time now is 8:38 on Monday, April 5th. And just to remind you again, tomorrow on April 6th, Tuesday, you can come out to Ford Rec Center at 10 Pickens Street and get your vaccination for fighting the COVID-19 virus. The vaccinations will be administered between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday, April 6th. Appointments are recommended, and we want to give you those numbers again to make sure you call in, but they are not required. They are taking walk-ins, so we want to make sure that you let everyone know if you want the vaccine, you have the opportunity here in Highland Park. The numbers you need to call to make an appointment, 313-580-3208. Again, that's 313-580-3208. And also you can call 313-580-5539, 313-580-5539. And again, that takes place tomorrow at the Ford Center on 10 Pickens Street. Another thing that people were talking about during this past year of the pandemic was learning new things and thinking about making the dreams that they thought were a distant dream were far from a reality, but they were now trying to find out ways to make these dreams a reality. And what I mean by that is there were some as simple as learning to play the guitar, or learning to play the piano online. And I know a lot of folks are still working with that. Some have taken up culinary classes online. You can log into different websites and you can prepare meals that your family will just be astounded by. These are just some of the things that have taken place. And we want to make sure that since you're at home, and whether you're working at home or whether you're looking for work, there are some opportunities that you can do to make your dreams a reality. The first thing is, do you have the proper training for the dream that you want to fulfill? And what I mean by that is, did you always say you were going to go to college, but you felt you never had the time or there were no dollars available? Well, there are billions of dollars available in financial aid if you would like to go back to school. I know that a number of schools have free tuition packages. Some have free courses that you can take. You would just need to contact your local community college and find out what those programs are and what kind of funding is available. Another thing you want to look at is it's not just about college anymore. You can go and learn a trade. You can go and become a certified mechanic. There are schools that offer those trainings, as well as working on vehicles like becoming a mechanic, becoming a truck mechanic. There are such different and diverse ways you can engage and create and obtain certification in different types of skilled trades that are being offered across the state and right here in Highland Park. The fact of the matter is you have to put in the legwork to do the research, and you need to know where to go. I know there are some places, Detroit Works comes to mind, as well as the State Unemployment Agency. They also list jobs there. You can just simply Google local, Highland Park training, Metro Detroit training, Southeastern Michigan training. You can Google financial aid and find out about Pell Grants and other types of grants. They also do have loans that you can take on at what I call as a last resort, because I believe there are dollars out there. There are a number of philanthropic arms from places that you shop with or you shop in. I know that stores like Target and Walmart have dollars made available. There are some scholarship programs through the big three, Ford, General Motors, and now Stellantis, formerly Fiat Chrysler. Do the research and find out where the dollars are, because this is where you can gain your funding to make that dream a little bit closer to reality. I know folks who are looking to become barbers, and I know folks that do phenomenal hair, both for men and women, but they're not licensed. And these are the things you want to make sure you get the proper credentials so that no one can come and tell you you must shut down or you can have to stop doing this. You want to make sure you got all your papers in order, because what you want to do is have something that you can build on. And the way you build on these activities and you build on these entrepreneurial endeavors is first getting your training and making sure that you're getting the proper knowledge behind that. Because you can do a nice fade or a nice tapered line, there's a lot more to cutting hair than that, because you're also looking at doing beards. Now, as you can see, I have no need for a barber on the top of my head, but I want to keep my beard tight. I want to make sure my mustache is not growing into my mouth, and the hairs are not just scraggly. And I like to have things a little more neater and conformed. Others may just want the fro, like James Harden from the NBA. But even his, you can tell, it's clean and it's well kept. There another field that's starting to really catch on, which I think it's phenomenal, is dog grooming. I'm noticing folks now taking a more vested interest in their pets. They may have a few disposable dollars and they say, I want to get my dog's hair trimmed and I want to get a lot more neater so that there's less shedding and the dog itself is cleaner, because you don't have so much hair that you have to keep clean on the regular. These are just some of the things that you can do. I know some folks are learning about writing a book. I know there's a book and a lot of people just dying to get out, but we keep saying, well, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. Well, now is the time, because of you're working from home and you can control the amount of hours that you're online, and you can spend time online trying to dive into your own dreams, where you're working for yourself and you're becoming that entrepreneur that you've been thinking about, you've been talking about, but you just haven't gotten to the point where, okay, I'm going to pull that lever now and make this happen. Self-employment, there are a lot of opportunities. I've seen folks who are competing with DoorDash and Grubhub, delivering meals. I've seen folks who have been doing shopping. They've become personal shoppers for some folks. These are things that you can do with your own vehicle, with your own training, and with your own getting out the word and marketing. There are dollars out here now to assist and help with Black-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses. A lot of businesses that have recently popped up have been led by African-American women. And it doesn't have to be just you. You can get together with a group of women who are of the same mind and have a desire to control their own destiny. Instead of working for someone else for a paycheck, they're doing all the work and they're reaping all the benefits for themselves, for their families. And that's something that you can hand down to generations, but it's got to start somewhere. So we want you to take the time to research and look into these, because there are dollars to be made. And like I said, having been to college, I don't regret it one bit. It's opened a lot of doors that I don't think my high school diploma would have. But at the end of the day, in 2021, there are so many other options. As I stated before, going into skilled trades, we have a number of construction areas throughout Southeast Michigan, in Wayne, Oakland, Macomb, and even right here in Highland Park and Detroit, where folks are looking to build, expand, and create opportunities. Now, like I always tell folks, when I see these construction sites, whenever I'm driving anywhere, you can either be that guy holding the stop sign, telling you to slow down, driving around, and you're making about 10 or 12 bucks an hour, or you can get the necessary training needed to ride and pull up one of those big machines that they use, making $25 to $30 an hour. The choice is yours, but you got to remember the old saying, the more you learn, the more you earn. So take a look and see. You're going to be nervous, so that's a given, but get comfortable with stepping outside of your comfort zone. I used to talk about thinking outside the box. I know people that have stayed in the same job for 30 years. A friend of mine just got his 25th anniversary reward certificate from working at Ford Motor Company. Godspeed and God bless. He loves his job and he enjoys his job. But for others who say, why do I keep coming here every day? I do not like my job. I need to find something different. Let this be the day. Let this be the year that you say, I'm going to get myself prepared. Now, please don't go telling anybody that guy on Highland Park Highlights told me to quit my job and go try to do something else. That's not what I'm saying. I want you to plan. I want you to save money. I want you to be ready to say goodbye to that 9 to 5 or to that midnight graveyard shift or that early morning job or that 10-hour, 7-day-a-week job you're working where you never see your family and you're only working and you don't get to take vacation. And when you do, you got to do some things that you couldn't do because you were working. That's not what I'm talking about. I want you to be prepared. I want you to get yourself ready. So take the time, do the research, and that's something else we'll be discussing in the coming weeks, our opportunities. We're going to look at solid foundational opportunities where you can get either better employment or start your own self-employment. We're going to take one more break, and we'll be right back with more Highland Park Highlights. Stay tuned.
I'm joined today by Maureen Taylor and Louis Pisker to let you know about a new financial empowerment center located in the Wayne County Treasurer's Office.
Do you know someone, family or friends, that need help with finances? Do you know people having trouble making ends meet, especially with property taxes or other payments? The Detroit Financial Empowerment Center can help. Treasurer Sabri invites you to visit the new Financial Empowerment Center, 400 Monroe, on the 5th floor in downtown Detroit.
We've partnered with the Wayne County Treasurer's Office and the City of Detroit to provide free one-on-one financial counseling to help you address problems related to utility bills, property or income taxes, credit repair, and other financial matters. Our professional counselors can also help you plan your monthly budget and increase your credit score.
This service is available to all Wayne County residents. For free and private financial counseling, contact the center at 313-322-6222 and make an appointment today.
If you need a car today, use credit, bruise credit, or in need of a financial miracle, my name is Mr. Green, the Financing King. Got a small down payment and proof of income. You can drive away today in a new or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV. Call me, Mr. Green, 313-350-4188. I have over 35 years of experience and an unlimited selection of reliable, certified vehicles. Call Mr. Green, the Financing King, 313-350-4188.
Finally, I just got my COVID-19 vaccine. I registered with my local health department and they called me.
I got mine at the pharmacy, and my neighbor got hers from the hospital.
I'm not a techie person, so I called the COVID hotline, and they helped me schedule an appointment.
Get vaccinated with the first vaccine you can. Protect us all.
Learn more at michigan.gov/COVID vaccine.
I'm Attorney Carl Collins III. I'm Attorney Carl Collins III. Hello, I'm Attorney Carl Collins III. If you've been injured and you need help, make the best call on your worst day. Call me at 855-CAR-HIT-YOU. That's 855-CAR-HIT-YOU.
Welcome back. We have just a few minutes left of Highland Park Highlights. And I want to thank you for kicking off your week joining me today on April 5th. We're having partly sunny skies. It looks similar to the way it looks behind me if you look outside. And we're expecting a high of about 65 degrees with a chance of showers and even a few thunder showers. Before we go, we want to let you know that you can still receive the COVID-19 vaccine. If you come out tomorrow to the Ford Rec Center between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., appointments are recommended but are not needed. You can do the walk-in thing where you just show up. No ID will be needed. No money is taken. This is a free service to those in Highland Park and those in the surrounding communities. So Hamtramck, come on out if you haven't been vaccinated. But we really want to encourage those who are here in Highland Park to come out and get the vaccine. The number you want to call to make an appointment is 313-580-3208. Again, that's 313-580-3208. You also can call 313-580-5539. Again, 313-580-5539. And we've had a chance to talk about a few things today, but the last thing I want to talk about is simply looking out for one another. And you can do that by encouraging folks to take the vaccine. You can also do that by making sure you're vaccinated yourself. There's nothing like someone that has actually done what they're talking about in order to be a better example for others. You can let folks know that this is a necessary thing as we combat this virus that has taken way too many lives. And even those that have survived when they contracted it, it's hard to really fully recover. There are folks that were diagnosed months ago, and they're still suffering from this virus. So we just want to make sure we're doing everything we can to protect ourselves and protect our loved ones and make sure that we spread the word about vaccination. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, like I said, looking out for one another. And we can do that in our own neighborhoods, in our communities. We know there are elements in every neighborhood that when you get up and go to work, they get up and go to work. When you're going out to do things in a positive way, they're doing things in a negative way. So we want to make sure we're keeping an eye out for our neighbors. I can tell you time after time, I'll get up and I just simply look out the window. If the children are going to and from school, I want to make sure that they're doing it safely and they're not lollygagging or stopping and talking to someone who may intend to do them harm. I want to make sure that they get where they need to go. And when they're in that school, you want to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. And the teachers and staff and principals, they're doing what they're supposed to do. This is a collective effort. Whether you have children or not, it doesn't take a lot of effort to look out for someone's child. You know and I know that someone at some point in your life looked out for you, and we need to do that for each other. We've been hearing in the news lately the vicious attacks that are being done against Asian Americans because of some negative comments that were made formerly from the White House and even down to everyday man and woman. These are folks who have taken it upon themselves to physically harm and even murder those with an Asian background, blaming them for something they had nothing to do with. And as African Americans, we know the trials and tribulations that black folks have had for centuries. And even if we just went to slavery, that would be an example. But we can even look now to what I call the Jim Crow laws of the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, to even now where we have what I call Jim Crow 2.0, where now it's going to be a lot more harder to cast your ballot. It's going to be a lot more harder to find a place to put your ballot in. And if you don't think it can't happen here in Michigan, the bills are already being drawn. There's an element in state and local government, because of the outcome of the previous election, they want to make it harder for you to make your voice be heard by the way of your vote. So we must be vigilant. We got to make sure that we're spreading the word. We got to make sure we support these groups that are fighting against these restrictions, because time and again, there has been no evidence of widespread voter fraud, not even minimal voter fraud. So when someone says we need these laws to protect against something, that's what we call a solution looking for a problem. It's simply not there. So we need to make sure that we're aware, we're alert, and whatever the case may be, whatever comes up, we have elections coming up in this year, and we have elections coming up in the years to come. Be aware of what you need. Do not let someone scare you from voting, intimidate you from voting, and most of all, do not let someone stop you from voting. We need to continue to make our voice heard. We saw states that were in the South, for example, that were considered die-hard one-party states, and now those states have turned. And it's not about Democrat or Republican. It's about voting for what's fair. It's about voting for who has your best interest. These are the things we must educate ourselves with and educate ourselves about. And we need to be aware, as I stated before, men look out for our women. Women look out for our men. Know where you're going. Take a look at where your surroundings are. If you don't feel comfortable about it, listen to that voice inside telling you to go someplace else. We've got to be more vigilant, because there are a lot of new ways people are doing things to harm folks, and we've got to be more safe and protective. I want to thank you again for joining me on this Monday, as you have the past few weeks, and I'm hoping you're getting something out of this that'll carry you through the week. We will be more engaging. I will be asking more questions of Highland Park residents on what they want discussed, and we hope to have additional guests that can come in and offer valid information that can benefit you in your daily life. So enjoy your Monday, enjoy the rest of your week, and be sure to come back and watch another episode of Highland Park Highlights. Take care.